Hey, hey, hey. Gonna wait for a few people to come on in because this is a Facebook Live episode. I think I logged in a little early anyway. So this little ad lib is just for the people watching the replay. I'm a little silly, y'all. Oh, my microphone. Hello, beautiful people. BeYoutiful souls. I see a couple people have joined. I don't know who you are. I don't know if I've got something on that tells me. Oh, it says comments appear there. All right. Excuse me. It's my water. Oh, hey, sis. Hi, Donna. Thank you. Thank you, darling. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate you. I miss you. I love your hair. Still getting used to this going live thing. And you know I'm goofy, so. Just gonna give about another minute. No, I'm not, because it's actually 7:08. All right. Welcome to episode 3 of My Trauma Healed Life. And this episode is entitled The End of Self-Betrayal, Forgiveness. And I appreciate all of you for being here. I welcome you here. Yes, ma'am. Welcome you all in here. The last 2 days have been a whirlwind for me. So don't mind me, please, as I try to calm my nerves a little bit, because on day 3, I'm still nervous. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope that you are loving yourselves. I hope that you are putting yourselves first. I hope that you are taking care of yourselves. And I hope that you guys are taking care of your heart. Yeah, your heart. For those that have been here the last 2 episodes, which are my first episodes of my podcast, you will know that I've been discussing self-betrayal and the experience that I've shared with you all has been, hi Linda, love you too. The experience that I have shared with you all has been concerning the betrayal that I experienced with my stepmother, and particularly as it related to stealing, lying, and manipulating me for 6 years over an inheritance, basically, of my grandmother's. And this is my father's mother. So this is my grandma. my blood grandmama. And I think I want to start off by sharing something, an experience that I had, and I'm not going to go into too many details because it could be kind of sensitive for some people. But I talk often about my grandmother, and I talk often about how she guides me. She passed away, left this physical existence here, June 23rd of 2017. And a few days after she passed, a couple days, maybe 2 or 3, I don't remember the exact date, I went with my stepmother to the funeral home to view my grandmother's body. I wanted to help choose the clothes for her to put her in. I wanted to actually do her makeup the way that she would like it to be done, and I actually did her hair, things of that nature. But on the very first moment of the visit, when we walked into the room, she had on they had her dressed in a hospital gown. And stepmom asked me, she was like, "Hey, do you want me to stand over here with you?" And I said, "No, there's a seat back there. Can you just sit over there and just give me some space?" And that seat had to have been about a good, at least 6 feet away from me. And I came to my grandmother's side, and she just really looked like she was sleeping. And I leaned over, and I laid my head on her body, on her chest, and I just started to sob. A few moments into me sobbing, I felt a hand on my back, and it made me jump, and I turned around because I thought it was my stepmom touching me. And I really didn't want to be touched. I just wanted to have my space, my moment. And when I turned around, she was still sitting in the chair, still 6 feet away from me. And I was a little bit confused, but I was still in the midst of, grieving at the moment. So I just turned back around, and I continued to lay on her chest and cry. And I continued to feel the hand, and it started to rub my back, and I heard my grandmother's voice. And she said, "You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay." Whew. Sorry, just give me a moment, please. I have a mission and a purpose in life that I believe my grandmother knew that I would need her support, her leading, her guidance, her mothering from the other side. And although she departed from this physical world, she is still with me. This isn't a figment of my imagination. This is an actual daily occurrence and thing that I experience and feel. And I appreciate her. And I honor her. Hi, Cynthia. Thank you. My grandmother was also the one to lead me to find things within her belongings of where, how do I say this? Things, basically, I found crystals like this rose quartz. That one wasn't hers, but I found crystals in the storage when I finally went through a storage a year after she passed. There were lots of other things here and there that led me to believe that she had some additional beliefs, or some beliefs in addition to the Christian beliefs that we have been raised in. I knew a lot about my grandmother. She was a quiet person. She could talk. She didn't talk a lot. And when she spoke, she spoke. And she wasn't much one for repeating herself. She had this thing. I said, Grandma, what'd you say? And her response, she looked at me, she said, I said what I said. I said, okay. But my grandmother also has spoken to me, like I told you, from the other side. And I've had conversations in which I've asked her, why was she so quiet about so many different things? She was a very gifted, intuitive person. I used to call her when I had dreams, and she would immediately tell me what the dream meant. And they were always right on point. I believe my grandmother stayed quiet about a lot of things out of fear of judgment, fear of not being accepted, fear of being shunned, and then not just wanting to be bothered with having to explain herself to people. And one of the things that I know that I am here to do in this world, as far as my purpose, why I'm here, is to break generational curses in my family line. And one of those things that has followed us in our line is not speaking up for ourselves. Not living truly authentically. Staying small in certain cases because we're afraid of judgment. Because we've been told that a certain way is a certain way and it is the way. And I say all of these things, one, to encourage myself to be transparent. As I speak something today that is probably not, it's just a perspective that I have that I wasn't raised with. And it's a perspective that I have not heard ever. It's a perspective on forgiveness. Growing up, and even all my life into adulthood, forgiveness was described in so many different ways, but it was pretty much the same stuff. You say, I'm sorry. You ask for forgiveness. And someone says, oh, I forgive you. But I don't know about y'all, but one of the things that experienced a lot in my life was forgiving people, and then they still kept doing the same stuff. And asking for forgiveness, and I would forgive them. And then sometimes people didn't ask for forgiveness. A lot of times people didn't ask for forgiveness, but I forgave them. I was taught that that was the way to heal myself, to get over the situation, to move forward. And as I consciously began to heal from the abuse traumas that I experienced in life, I began to learn about accountability. And I learned it first as for me, because that's who I am. I heal myself first so that then I can assist others from that place of experience and learning and growing and elevating and evolving. So I went through a series of changes as it related to understanding forgiveness, because after a while it actually became hurtful to forgive some people and forgive some transgressions, so to speak, because they kept doing the same crap over and over. So I think the first thing that I came upon was I decided I just wasn't going to forgive nobody. I'm just not going to forgive you. I'll still be around you. You do what you do. But no, I don't forgive you. I didn't really say that to people, but I said it within myself. And I thought that would bring me relief, and it didn't. It actually brought me more pain. More inner pain, not even pain from the person doing anything else. I felt bad because I was like, well, I'm supposed to forgive. I was taught that I'm supposed to forgive. I was taught I'm supposed to turn the other cheek. I was taught I'm supposed to only think on the good things and not on the bad things. But that doesn't seem quite fair, does it? It didn't. So then I elevated a little bit more, and I realized for myself that, okay, you know what? I really can forgive the person and release myself of their problem. And I can choose whether I continue to stay in the company of that person or not. Because at one point in time, I felt like if I decided to, release myself from a person and not deal with them anymore, that meant that I did not forgive them. But I learned that choosing to forgive another person and also choosing to put space between myself and that person was okay. And that worked for a while. That got me far. That got me far. That took me through a few years, you know? And then I began to still have issues with the person internally. The person that I forgave and the person that I walked away from, put space in between. I began to realize that I was still having issues within. Still thinking about the issue, pondering it. It would come up and I would feel bad about it. It'd make me cry. I get angry. And then I was getting angry with myself. Why can't I let this go? Why can't I let this go? I ain't even seen this person in 4 years, 5 years, 20 years. Why can't I let it go? It was because I was actually still betraying myself. I was lacking accountability for my involvement. And when I say my involvement, first time somebody does something to you, and you didn't know that that was the type of person that they were and they were capable of doing those type of things or whatever it is to you. First time they do something to you, you forgave it and let it go. Oh, okay. All right, I forgive you. Give a person benefit of the doubt that okay. Or you take the fact that you're forgiving them or they've asked for forgiveness to mean that they won't do it again. Okay. Even though they may not have necessarily said that. You take that and then it happens again. Same person, happens again. First time, you really had a choice to put space between you and that person and choose yourself and set boundaries. But okay, we still give people the benefit of the doubt, especially if it's people that we love. Second time, they did it again, I forgave. Third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth, hey, we can keep counting. I can't count to 1,000,000. But that's probably about how many times I forgave lots of different people for the same things. The person I really needed to forgive was myself. For making the choice to continue in a connection, communication, continue to participate in whatever area I should have built boundaries. I used to be the cutoff queen. I don't know if Donna is still on here, but me and Donna back in high school had this little thing. We used to say, skink, you've been cut from the list. I was cut off queen. If I thought that a person was going to do something to hurt me, I cut them off. I act like I didn't even know them. I did that to somebody in high school, and when I talked to them years later, they told me that, and they were like, why did you do that to me? And I was like, I don't quite remember doing that, but now that I have, grown and healed some things to a certain extent, I know that's how I was. So I believe you when you say I did that to you, and I apologize. I did it because that was my way of protecting myself I didn't know a balance. I didn't know about having boundaries. Heck, I just think I learned the word boundaries like 2 years ago. Oh, okay. I always thought boundaries was just the lines in the street when you're driving. Didn't realize that those boundaries were essential. Essential for allowing oneself to live freely and authentically. Don't have to have walls up. Don't have to have metal that somebody gotta get a welder to come and break through to your heart. You can live free, be free with boundaries. In order to have boundaries, you have to be accountable. The last 2 nights, if you've watched my live, you've probably seen me, you've seen the pain and the hurt that I felt from the situation with my stepmother. And that hurt was there because I loved her. And I still do. Because you don't just turn it off. It doesn't just turn off. But for me, I know that I no longer want to be attached in that relationship with her. What she did, some people would probably say it's unforgivable. I don't know. It's up to her whether her deeds are forgivable or unforgivable because she did them. When you look at the word forgive in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which I think is like one of the most common dictionaries, I don't know. But I looked it up and it says forgive means to cease to feel resentment against an offender. It doesn't say let them off the hook. It doesn't say let them keep coming back in your life. It doesn't say block them and just cut them from the list. It says to cease to feel resentment against an offender. Another part of the definition says to grant relief from payment of, such as forgive a debt. Stepmama don't owe me nothing. Got the rings. Okay. Thank you. But she don't owe me nothing. She don't owe me an apology. She doesn't need to come and say she's sorry. There's no need. There's nothing that she can say that will make me understand why she did what she did for 6 years. It won't. But I talked about the betrayal, the self-betrayal that I went through as it related to stepmom and I relationship. I talked about that in the last 2 lives, especially last night. Traced back that still small voice of truth inside. But I did it out of fear of losing someone that I loved. But okay, sorry about that, guys. Had an internet snafu. If anybody is still there, because somebody just type something in, let me know that you guys actually see me and hear me, that I'm actually really am back live. Oh, I don't even think anyone is there right now. I think it came back. Ah, okay. Oh, thank you, Auntie Barbara. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, I don't exactly remember exactly where I was at in that process, but of what I was saying. Give me a moment. Well, I know I was talking about forgiveness and needing to forgive myself for betraying myself. Because it was my own self-betrayal that put me into a position to be betrayed by someone else. I was seeking something from my stepmother that, honestly, at the age that I was in my 30s when we met. Yeah. I should not have necessarily been seeking a mother in the way that I was seeking at that age. Not necessarily. Because I should have been responsible, accountable, things of that nature for myself, for my own self. Giving myself those basic needs. I was learning how to do that at that time. But I was still wanting that connection. And because I wanted that connection so bad, I let a lot of shit slide. I overlooked a lot of things. I excused a lot of things. I closed my eye. I didn't even turn my eye. I closed my eyes to things that were apparent to me. And I did not listen to the still small voice inside. This live is not going to be a very long one tonight. But I think most people, or at least what I've heard growing up, most people would say you should forgive her. But according to the actual definition of forgive, that's not possible. Who told us that we need to forgive a person for something that they did? Probably the person that did the crap. Yeah. But the word actually means to cease to feel resentment against an offender. Not to let them off the hook. Not to say, I forgive you. Not to say anything to them. It's for self. I stated before that my podcast is a safe place for those of us that experienced abuse trauma to heal together. Because I am in continual healing. We experience things all the time. Change is happening all the time. And if you're still here, physically in this side, you're still growing. But on tonight, I am choosing to forgive myself as it relates to that situation with my stepmom. I forgive myself for betraying myself. I forgive myself for not trusting my voice, the still one inside, for not trusting my intuition. I forgive myself for being selfish. In hindsight, which is always 2020, I can't imagine what my biological mother felt, because she knew of my dad's marriage to my stepmom, and she also knew that I was calling her mom and spending time together. Even though my biological mom married, been with somebody, all that other kind of stuff, but knowing that that was for her a deep, deep hurt and pain. I can't imagine what it was like for my biological mother. And that's even after she's done all the crap that she's done to me. And I'm talking about biological mom. She did a lot of things to me. But as a woman, as a mother, as a grandmother, I can see some things differently now. And I can understand some things differently now. So I forgive myself for any hurt and pain that I caused my biological mother. I would have never thought that forgiveness would be some type of aspect of the topic of self-betrayal. But it is. If you're having trouble, you're feeling blocked in forgiving someone else, go in the mirror and look at yourself. Not in judgment, but with compassion. Compassion is defined in the dictionary, is a sympathetic consciousness of others' distress, together with a desire to alleviate it. You can have self-compassion. A sympathetic consciousness of your own distress, together with a desire to alleviate it. You want the thoughts to stop running around in your mind about what the person did. You want to stop feeling bad about it. You want to stop talking about it. Because as for me, I want to stop talking about this. I've been talking about it longer than just the last 2 days. I've been talking about it since about August 28th of 2022. I want to free my mind. I want to let go. I want to clear my heart. so that I can be the vessel of love that I came here to be. Look at yourself with compassion. And ask yourself simply, what do I need to forgive myself for? And listen, because that still small voice of truth within you will tell you. It will reveal to you. And then all you need to do is just become aware of it. And then willing to give yourself what you've been giving others for so long. To those that offend us, in my opinion, in lieu of the term forgiving them, empathize. Empathy is the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experiences of another. As it relates to stepmom, I can empathize. There are certain parts of that definition that I can do. I don't understand why she did what she did. Like specifically why she lied and manipulated and did all those things. I don't understand that. But I am sensitive to her. And I am aware of her because I did get to know some things about her. And one of the things that I definitely know is that when one person hurts another person, is because that person is hurting themselves. It's been a common saying the last several years, hurt people, hurt people. She's hurting. And she's got to be hurting pretty bad to do the things that she did. And I empathize with her and her pain. And I release her. I forgive myself and I release all that does not serve me now. I have some affirmations because we must encourage ourselves. We must build ourselves back up. We must fill that cup because once you release, there's an empty space there and you got to fill it with loving, self-loving things. Otherwise, that crap that you release will ease its way back on in and you'll find yourself back in the same cycle, going back around again. Maybe you're watching this and you're finding that you need to forgive yourself, you in this moment, and maybe you're doing it as I'm speaking. And if you are, I would encourage you to repeat these affirmations with me. Well, after me, you have to hear what I say first. So with courage and compassion, I leave the past behind. I have learned well. And now I find that a new adventure is ready for me. The next step in my divine destiny. I trust the universe, God, the Creator, to lovingly guide me into my future, bright, pure, and true. I am limitless. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Hey, know that song? All I do is win. I am a creative visionary. And it is safe to put myself first. This is me. I show up. I am supported by my loved ones, those who are seen and those who are unseen. I have the courage to be vulnerable. I am knowing. I trust my intuition. I am always being guided in the right direction. My life is full of miracles. Baby, I am a miracle. If you are here today and you have experienced any type of abuse, trauma, childhood, partner abuse, anything, any type of abuse, trauma, abuse from strangers, anything, and you're here today, you are a miracle. And your life is full of them. Your life is full of miracles. Go find them. It's a miracle to forgive yourself. It's a miracle to love yourself. In the face of experiences of where others did things that allowed you or caused you to think that you were unlovable, feel that you were unlovable, feel that you were worthless. You're still here. You're worthy. You're valuable. You have purpose. And you are a miracle. There's a song that I wish I could share, like play it. I don't want to play it on Facebook Live because I'm going to actually upload this video onto my YouTube channel. And I don't want them to block my video because of any type of copyright infringements. So there's a song by, I hope I pronounce it right, Nicole. It's spelled Geminelle. And it's called I Forgive Myself. And it's a affirmation mantra song. And it literally says what I said earlier. I forgive myself and I release all the things that don't serve me now. I'll try to hum a little bit or sing a little bit of it. Excuse me. It goes a little something like this. I forgive. That's not quite it. Yeah. I forgive myself and I release all the things that don't serve me now. I forgive myself and I release all the things that don't serve me now. Yeah. It's a beautiful song. It sounds much better by the original artist, Gemini. Go look it up. YouTube Music has it. It's about a 5-minute song and it's a repeating of that mantra. And it's comforting. And it helps you to release. I'll be back on tomorrow night. I've made a commitment to myself for 7 days straight on live starting out. Let's go. Won't be discussing this particular story about the, I can't even remember now, because it's in the past. Won't be discussing that. But we'll be moving on to another subject or another experience as it relates to self-betrayal. I think tomorrow we're starting to discuss self-betrayal as it relates to interpersonal relationships. And I'm talking about marriage, girlfriend, boyfriend, committed, romantic, long-term relationships. Remember to always affirm, I love and accept myself unconditionally, no matter who and no matter what. Again, to my survivors, you are a miracle. I thank you all for joining tonight. I wish you peace, unconditional love of yourself, unconditional love for all. Good night.